Hey guys, how we doing? It's Mr. Pedrick. I know you guys have been waiting very patiently for this online tutorial. I'm sure you didn't get any sleep last night because you were so pumped about this happening. But this is the tutorial for your Photoshop Polaroid collage. Now my version of Photoshop is slightly different from yours. I'm using Photoshop CC, which is a slightly updated version. But everything should look pretty similar. Toolbars on the left and your layer panels on the right. Those are the two major things that you'll need for this. I'm also working on a Mac, which so might look a little bit different with the windows and everything, but it's all going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. So what I've done so far is I've opened up an image in Photoshop. Use any image you want for this project. And remember, the layer order is very important for this project. So the first thing I'm going to do is build a background layer. So I'm going to make a new layer. Shift Control N would be the shortcut for that. I'm going to call this layer background, and since it's the background layer, I'm going to put it on the bottom. And there's several ways I can fill this. I can go to Edit Fill. I can put a picture there. Well, just keep this simple. I'm going to go to Edit Fill, and then I'm going to select Color for Contents, and I'll select this gray color in the green family, and we'll hit OK. There's my background layer. I'm making two layers on top of this. My first one is going to be called Outside, and the next one's going to be called Inside. And we'll name this one Photo. So your layer should be Photo, Inside, Outside, Background, as you see over here. So now I'm going to make the inside of my Polaroid with the marquee tool. The shortcut is M on your keyboard. And I'm going to drag out a square. Remember, to keep it square, I'm holding down the Shift key, and you'll see that that constrains the proportions and keeps it square. Alright, so now we're going to fill this square with 50% gray. We're making a clipping mask like you guys did before in your portraiture assignment. It would help if I was on the right layer. So we're going to go to the inside layer right here. I can right-click inside the actual marquee selection, or I can go to Edit Fill. 50% gray is my contents, blending mode normal, opacity 100, click OK. You will not see the gray box pop up because the photo is on top. And we're going to right-click on Photo and go to Create Clipping Mask. Alright, that's going to put your photo inside that box. Control D to deselect. And now we're going to go down to our outside layer. The outside layer is going to be the white border of the Polaroid, so I'm going to stretch out a rectangle slightly larger and bigger on the bottom than my inside layer. I'm going to do Edit Fill and select white and hit OK. Control D to deselect. There's my Polaroid. We're going to have many Polaroids that'll, all together will make your collage up. So now that this is done, just want you to know you can move this Polaroid around by selecting the inside layer and the outside layer at the same time. To do that, you'll click on inside and then you'll shift click outside. So you're holding down shift on your keyboard and you're clicking on outside. You'll see that both of these now have highlights on them. I'll go to my move tool, and now when I move the Polaroid, it moves the clipping mask around. Okay? Once I get that in place, there's my first Polaroid. Now the process from here is pretty repetitive. You don't need to do any building. You don't need to design the Polaroid again. Here is your Polaroid. We're just going to copy and paste pretty much and move the Polaroid around. So to do that, we're going to select the photo layer, the inside layer, and the outside layer all at the same time. Same deal. Click on the photo layer, shift click on the outside layer. Now you have all three of these all highlighted at the same time. Now we're going to go to the Layers drop-down menu, which is right across from where it says Layers, and we're going to go to New Group from Layers. That's going to take those three that you selected. You can name it Group 1, that's fine. We'll hit OK. It's taking the three layers that we selected and putting them into this group. Here's this folder. It's a group now. When we click on this little arrow here, we'll see the contents are our photo inside outside. Okay, so now as a group we can easily duplicate it, and the shortcut to duplicate a layer or a group is Control J or Command J if you're working on a MacBook. So we'll do Control J. I'm going to go inside of that Group 1 copy now, and I'm going to select inside and outside. Selecting inside, shift click outside, and then I can move this around. I can use Control T to go into transform, and I can rotate that, and I'm going to click OK. Now there's something else that you can do to make this a little more personalized. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go back to this step. In Group 1, if I select my outside Polaroid layer, this button right here, it says FX. These are called layer styles. And I think we used these on text a little bit ago when you guys were doing the clipping mask assignment. But all of these little things are just kind of cool ways that you can enhance a layer. So if I'm gonna select drop shadow right now, and let's look at the Polaroid. Watch what I'm doing. I can change the angle. I can move this. Now you see the shadow that's coming behind it. Almost looks like it's like hovering above the background a little bit. So I'm going to keep that in place. I kind of like the way that looks. It looks like it's laying on the surface and casting a little bit of a shadow around it. And I'll click OK. And you'll notice in the outside now it says effects, and I can show and hide that by clicking the eyeball. Now that this has been applied to the outside layer, when I make the duplicate group, it's also going to duplicate that little layer style. So Control J again, and I'm going to come in here, and it says inside and outside. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to select inside, shift click outside. Okay, so just selecting those two. Don't select the photo layer. The photo layer, as you can see, is in a clipping mask. It's got the little arrow indicating that it's inside the inside layer. So if you select the photo layer, it's going to move the picture too, and you don't want that. You just want to move the Polaroid window. So watch as I do that. Okay, there it is. And look at that drop shadow coming with it. It's pretty cool. So do Control T. I'll flip that around. Okay, now here's the repetitious part. We're going to close up Group 1 copy, Control J to make a duplicate. Go into the group, select inside and outside, and then move that around. I'm using Control T. I got an email from Etsy, guys, right there. Check it out. All right. Going to move this around. I'm going to hit OK. Closing that up, Control J again. Going in, selecting inside and outside, moving. Control T. You can also make the Polaroids larger by dragging it out in Control T. Okay, now you're seeing the shadow like kind of build on each Polaroid. It kind of looks neat. So that's an option. It's not one of the requirements. Again, Control J to duplicate. Go into the group, select inside and outside, move the duplicate. Control T, spin it any way you want. We want it to look kind of just like a bunch of Polaroids were thrown on the ground. Now later on, you can choose to change this background. You can always go back into Edit and go to Fill, and if you don't like the color, just go back into Color, and you know, you can select something else, maybe something a little lighter, and hit OK. All right, there's a totally different look. There's also the gradient tool in Photoshop, which we haven't gone over yet, but it's a cool way to make a gradation between colors. So I'll just show you how that kind of works. I want to do something like that, or like this, or like that. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the gradient tool, but you can always change the background too. Alright, well that's it for this tutorial. I hope it helps you get this project done on time. This coupled with that PDF that's on Plus Portals, I think you guys are going to be A-OK. Alright, see you soon.